So you're gonna take that block, put it right where the head meets the neck. That's the base of the skull. And we'll just find that triple S with the knees bent. So feet are on the mat. And we'll start with something called a chin tuck. You're gonna draw your chin down towards your throat and feel the back of the neck get a little bit longer. And then release. So try that a couple times, bringing the chin down, like you're tucking the chin under. But the goal here is not necessarily the chin tuck, but on what's happening at the back of the neck. So getting longer, like you're lifting your hairline up. Now keep that chin tuck and add some rotation side to side. So just to whatever amount is tolerable, keep the back of the neck long. So every once in a while, just re-tuck the chin as you rotate, freeing up some of that muscle and fascia at the back of the neck, toward the shoulders. And let's come back to center. We'll lift the head off the block for now. And we can bring it in between the knees or the thighs for bridge. So medium or thinnest way for your block. Feel that triple S. Now really check the back of the neck here. Chin is slightly toward the throat, back of the neck is long. Push the ground away, lift just a few inches into your bridge. So we're not lifting the pelvis up really high. We're staying low enough that our back ribs and our shoulder blades are still on the ground. Hands can come to the front ribs for a moment and just gently pull those front ribs in toward the body and down toward the pelvis a little bit. So we're just kind of hugging the ribs in and sliding them down, breathing into the back ribs. Back of the neck stays long, chin is slightly toward your throat. So notice that the chin has started to lift while we've been in bridge. So we're really keeping the whole spine, including the neck, long as we extend the hips, work the glutes. Now stay here in your bridge, reach your right palm up, take the left fingers, pull back to stretch out the wrists. Now you can stay here in your bridge, you can keep hugging the block, add some pulses with the hips, just a little bit of a lift and lower with the hips while we stretch out that right wrist. But keep the feeling of that low back staying long and the back of the neck staying long. Switch hands, left palm up, pull back. You can continue pulsing or you can just pause in your bridge. Keep thinking about the back of the neck staying long, chin slightly toward the throat. Hands come back to your ribs. Take one more breath in. Exhale, lower down one vertebra at a time. Now we'll take the block behind our head for our core work. If you don't have a block, that's totally fine. You're just going to interlace your hands like we usually do and then wrap those elbows in. Same position if we do have the block. Block comes behind the base of the skull and we still wrap the elbows in nice and tight. And then the head and the block start down. So let's take a breath in. Exhale, feel the front ribs pull in toward the body as you lift off the shoulder blades. Feel your head lean back into the block like we're doing that chin tuck. So this is a great way to make sure we're not yanking on the neck to lift. It's this almost push back into the block. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, feel the front ribs pull in toward the body as we lift off the shoulder blades. Feel your head lean back into the block. So almost like that chin tuck position, but stay lifted off your shoulder blades. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, lift up. Feel your head lean back. Pull the front ribs in. Draw the pelvic points in. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, lift up. Feel the skull lean back into the block like you're doing a chin tuck. Now keep your head in the same type of position. Turn from your ribs 1 inch to the right. So we're not leading with the head is still leaning back into the block. And notice if that feels any different if you're used to leading with the head. Come back to center. Inhale and lower. Exhale, feel the front ribs pull in, feel the belly pull down as you lift up. Lean your head back. Keep actively feeling your head lean back as you turn the chest 1 inch to the left. Stay off that left shoulder blade. Keep leaning the skull into the block. Come back to center. Inhale and lower down. One more time each way. Exhale, lift up. Lean the skull back. Turn just 1 inch to the right. Stay off that right shoulder blade. Feel how much that right side has to work. Come back to center. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift up. Draw the pelvic points in. Lean the skull back. Turn 1 inch left. Keep leaning the head back into the block. Come back to center. Inhale to lower down. Let's remove the block. We're gonna roll to our right side. You can have that block either between the knees or the thighs here, or as you roll to your right side, you can have that left knee land on a block if that's more comfortable. Both arms reach out to the right. You can have the head resting down. You can even have the head on a block here. Let's inhale and open that left arm up and back and goal post the left arm so the elbow is bent. Exhale it back over. Inhale, left arm opens, we bend the elbow in that goal post. And then bring it back over. You can keep going, moving at your own pace. So we're starting to move the thoracic spine because that will really impact the mobility and the stability of the neck. Good, switch sides. Bend the knees, roll to your left side. Block can be between the knees, or you can land that right knee on the block. Both arms reach to the left. Inhale, up and back, and we're bending this right arm because it's less of a pull for the shoulder and the right side of the chest. When the arm is straighter, you're gonna get a bigger pull here. So since it's just the beginning of class, let's make it a little bit more gentle to start with this bent elbow as we rotate. Good, as you roll to your left, you can make your way into a seated position, or actually quadruped. We're gonna start in quadruped. Shoulders come right over your wrists. Walk those knees in even closer than you think. So we're in this really shortened quadruped. Left arm is going to stay super strong and really still. So this left shoulder is not going to move. We're going to bring the right back of the hand under the forehead. So kind of like we had the block behind the head, we've got the hand right under the forehead. Lift your hand up into the head and feel that align the neck a little bit more so it's right over the shoulders. Push the left hand into the ground. We're turning from the ribs, maybe 1 or 2 inches to the right, but keep the same position with the head. So we're not turning from the head and then bring it back. Head faces down. Push the left hand into the ground. Turn the chest, not leading with the head. So remember the feeling of leaning the head back into the block, back to center. Try that a couple more times. So we're not moving this left shoulder. It's not wiggling around. It's holding really still. The only thing that's rotating is the ribs. The spine is staying long. Right hand comes under the shoulder. Now really secure this right shoulder. We've got all those stabilizer muscles working so that we're not wiggling. Left hand, back of the hand, comes under the forehead. Push the right hand into the ground. Turn the ribs left. Don't lead with the head. And then bring it back. Forehead faces the ground. Push the ground away with that right hand. Turn the ribs any amount to the left. Nice and controlled. At your own pace, so keep that feeling of lifting the front of the throat up. So the neck stays long and it stays stacked over the shoulders as we turn the ribs to the left. Good, let's come back to quadruped. You could also be on fists here to give the wrists a break. Let's practice letting the head get heavy. So let's find our neutral spine, our triple S, like we've got that broom behind us. Now don't change anything else, but let the head lower to the ground. Lift from the front of the throat up Back of the neck is long. Let the head feel heavy. Lift from the front of the throat up. And keep going. So we're working our neck flexors. Letting the head feel heavy and then lifting up into that neutral position. So we're extending the neck or extending the cervical spine, but just to neutral. So our chin stays toward the throat. We're not lifting the head and just bringing the chin forward. All right, let's cat-cow, move it all out. Inhale, we extend the spine. You can let the chin come forward a bit here. And then exhale, round the back. You can wiggle the head around a little bit as you as you cat and round the back. So just move through your cat-cow, let the neck move in whatever range feels good. Let's sit the hips back any amount for child's pose. You could also lower onto your forearms and keep the hips higher. Now, if we have that block and the head doesn't comfortably touch the ground, you can bring the block to whatever height to support the head in a high child's pose or child's pose. And now we're going to let the forehead rock side to side. So we're still getting that rotation through the neck. Releasing some tension. And then lift the head off the block. We're going to make our way to the front of the mat and start with our sun salutations. So we'll have that block nearby for when we need it. And let's again pay attention to that position of the neck. So another thing we can do is take our index fingers and you're going to bring them right behind the jaw, kind of by the ear. And you're just going to take that area and think about lifting right where your fingers are up. So we're going to take our fingers and lift up, and that gets that neck. And so it's not the same as a chin tuck this way, where you're just double chinning. What we want is back and up. So the hairline is going to lift straight up, but the chin stays neutral. So it's just a good thing to do with your fingers. You just take your fingers and lift up and make sure that didn't pop the ribs forward. So finding our nice aligned neck, reach the arms forward and up, bend the knees, keep the neck light as you hinge forward. So don't let the head drop first, keep it aligned. Right foot steps back, lower the knee, top of the foot, we're in low lunge. Find that neutral here. Maybe we do the same thing, fingers to the jaw, lift up. Keep the ribs in, make fist. We're gonna let our shoulders shrug up and down, up and down. So we're just gonna go up and down. You can go faster, you can keep it slow, but let's be intentional that our shoulders are shrugging, but we're not loosey-goosey everywhere else. Everything is still holding that triple S. We're just getting some tension out of the shoulders. And now let's roll one back at a time. You can let the ribs turn a little bit with that thoracic rotation, but keep that right glute really active so the pelvis stays still. Hands will come down, quadruped. Let's cat-cow here. Let the neck move to whatever amount feels good for you. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Keep the hands pressing into the mat. Lift the hip creases, take a breath in. Breathe into the side and back ribs. On your next exhale, lower the knees back to quadruped. Right foot steps through the hands. We untuck the left toes. We're in low lunge on the other side. Zipper that pubic bone up. Fingers right behind the jaw. Lift up. Align the ears right over the shoulders. Fist. Shrug those shoulders. You can go slow. You can go faster. But keep the pelvis still. Keep that left thigh bone lifting up. And let's roll back one at a time. Get those shoulder blades moving. That alone starts to free up some of that tightness around the neck, just getting that good scapula mobility. Hands will come forward or to a block. Left foot steps forward to meet the right, bent knee forward folds. Push into the feet, arms reach forward and up. Lift those shoulder blades, but keep the ribs from popping forward. Bend the knees, hinge forward without dropping the head. Keep that neck aligned. Left foot steps back. Lower the knee, not the toes this time. Let's lift up, we're in low lunge. Tighten that left glute, zipper the pubic bone up. Ribs stack right over. Right hand to the sacrum, left arm up. Feel that left shoulder blade lift up. Get that left arm put up toward the ear. Lift the left side of your rib cage up, but keep those front ribs in. Lift, 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 and then we'll side bend a bit toward the right. You could also let the right ear start releasing toward the shoulder. That's getting into a little side bending in the neck. Float the head back up. Hands come down. Quadruped. Let's cat-cow. Moving at your own pace. You can let the head feel heavy and maybe wiggle a little bit as you come to that cat. Tuck the toes, lift up, down dog. Fingers press into the mat, we lift the ribs up. Breathing into the side and back ribs. On an exhale, knees lower to quadruped. Left foot steps forward. Right toes stay tucked. We're in our 90-90 lunge. Zipper up, keep the ribs in, maybe align the neck. Left hand to the sacrum, right arm up. Reach everything on that right side up. So it's like somebody is trying to lift everything on your right side up, 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 up. And we side bend left without changing the pelvis. Maybe the left ear starts to release a little bit, getting a stretch on the right side of the neck. Float it back up, hands come forward or to a block, bend knee, forward fold. Push down into the feet, reach the arms forward and up. Okay, hands come down. We're gonna align the neck before we start our first sequence. So we can picture that broom behind our back, lift the back or the jaw up, left arm up, right arm comes to the side of that right hip. Slide the right hand down as we start to side bend toward the right. Push that left big toe down. So we're super active on that left side. It's a real active side bend. Bring it up, switch, right arm up, left arm slides down the left leg. Push into that right big toe. Active on that right side. Bring it back up, both arms up. Bend the knees. Now keep that neck aligned as you hinge forward. Don't let the head drop. So you've got to stay light in the neck. Right foot steps back. Lower the knee, but not the toes. Lift up for a moment. We're in that 90-90. Right glute is firm. Now try to keep that triple S as we bring the right hand to a block. Whatever setting, right under the shoulder. Keep that spine long. You can even stay on fingertips. Make it as high as you need. Left hand under the forehead like we did in quadruped in the reset. Turn through the ribs to the left. Don't lead with the eyes or the head. Bring it back. Turn the ribs. Do your best to not lead with the head. So the eyes aren't turning us. The forehead's not turning us. The neck is staying neutral. Rotating at your own pace. Back of the neck stays long. We have a big transition from here. If you've got that block, you can use it in front of you. We're going to lift off the right knee, ground that right heel down, and we're in a warrior variation. Left forearm to the hip or thigh, right arm up and over. Any amount that feels good, let the left ear start to drip down toward the shoulder as you push into that right foot. So kind of like that standing side bend we just did where we pushed into that opposite foot, push into that right big toe. Come back up. We're going to turn to the right, facing the side of the mat. Feet are parallel. Arms can be out to the side, or you can have your hands on your body. Side lunge right, and pause. Lift the front of the throat. Find that alignment in the neck. Let the head rotate right, any amount. Bring the neck back to center. Side lunge left. Keep the front of the throat lifting. Turn the head, any amount left. Bring it back. You're just gonna add that while you side lunge. So when you side lunge right, neck rotates to the right. When you side lunge left, head rotates to the left. And every once in a while, just make sure that the head isn't dropping down and rotating, but we've got that feeling of the hairline lifting up, the back of the neck being long. Let's turn to the front of the mat, plant the hands, downward dog. Our left foot steps back for down dog. Bend both knees quite a bit, and let's swivel. Knees and toes turn to the left, lift the ribs up. Now knees and toes turn to the right. Lift those armpits up. Keep swiveling side to side. Lifting the hips, pressing into the fingers. Big bend in your knees as you walk the hands back toward the feet for happy squat. You can always have a block there with you. Now, huge bend in the knees like we're trying to touch our belly toward our thighs. You can let the neck release here. Maybe a little wiggle side to side, up and down, whatever feels good. Now find a more neutral position for the neck. Push down into the feet and let's rise up. If you've got that block, you're going to take it and put it behind you, right at the lower back. So that's the back of the pelvis, the sacrum. Rip the block apart without arching the back. So keep those ribs in. And as we rip the block apart, we're getting this active opening in the front of the chest and shoulders. Stagger walk that right foot forward. You can have as much bend in the knees as you need. Keep that pelvis neutral. Turn the head right, back to center. Turn the head left, keep pulling the block apart. Back to center, stagger walk left foot forward. Keep that neutral pelvis, pull the block apart, turn the head left. Back to center, turn the head right, rip that block in two. Back to center, stagger walk right foot forward. Keep those ribs in, turn the head right. Center, left, pull the block apart. Center, and then we step it forward and let's remove the block and we'll do that on the second side. So find that alignment here, hands behind the jaw, lift up, keep that alignment, left hand down, right arm up, slide the left hand down. You can have as much bend in the knees as you need, push into that right foot, really active in that right leg, right glute, lift up. Switch, left arm up, right arm down. Slide that right hand down as we side bend. Tailbone keeps reaching down. Push into that left side body, left big toe. Come back up, both arms up. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips. Don't let the head drop first. So keep that feeling of the neck staying really buoyant. Left foot steps back. Lower the knee, but not the toes. We're in our low lunge. Zipper up, we're pausing here just for a moment. Align the neck, ears right over the shoulders. Now, can you keep that alignment as we hinge forward without rounding? Left hand comes to a block at any height. You could be on fingertips, you could be on the fist. Right hand under the forehead. Now, keep that left shoulder still. Don't turn with the head. Let the ribs turn maybe just 1 inch and keep the back of the neck long. Unwind. Forehead faces the ground, push into that left hand. Turn the ribs without leading with the eyes or the forehead. So our neck is staying neutral, but we're turning the thoracic spine. So we're getting rotation in the ribs, the mid and upper back, but our neck is staying in a neutral position. We've got that transition to our warrior variation. So if you want to put the block in front of you to help you lift off that left knee, ground that left heel, right forearm comes to the hip or thigh, left arm up and over. Push into that left big toe, give that left boot a squeeze. Let the right ear release if that feels good. Then lift up, turn to the side of the mat, parallel both feet. We're doing our side lunges. You can keep hands on the body as you side lunge, left, turn the head left. Center as you side lunge right, turn the head to the right. You could do this with arms out. You could do this with hands at the base of the skull. Keeping that lift in the front of the throat, back of the neck staying long. So wherever your hands are going to be the most helpful, let's really feel like we still have that broom taped behind us. Turn it back to the front, down dog. Step that right foot back, soften the knees, walk the feet in as much as you need so we can do that swivel side to side. Our lower body's swiveling, but the shoulders are staying the same. Arms are staying really active. You can take the block with you as we walk back for happy squat. Feet can be as wide as you want. Big bend in the knees. Let the head feel heavy. Maybe we wiggle side to side. Now push the ground away, rise up. Let's bring the block with us again to the back of the pelvis. And we're just trying to rip the block apart without popping those ribs forward. So keep the ribs in. Stagger walk, left foot forward. You can bend both knees. Tailbone reaches down. Turn the head left, any amount. Bring it back to center. Pull the block apart. Stagger walk, right foot forward. Turn the head right. Bring it back. Step the left foot forward. Stagger walk. Pull the block apart. Turn the head left. Bring it back. Step the feet together. Let's remove the block. We're going to come into a quadruped again. So let's come to hands and knees, shoulders over the wrist. Let's combine some of that neck mobility we did so we can check in. So a little strength, a little stretch. Let the head drop down, ears drop below the shoulders. Now from the front of the throat, lift back into that neutral neck. Turn your head to the right. Bring it back to center. Let the head get heavier like we're dropping it down out of alignment. Use the front of the throat to lift up. Find neutral, turn your head left. Bring it back. So keep going. When we get to center, we let the head drop. We lift back up to neutral. We add rotation. Back to center. Same thing, let it drop. Lift to neutral. And turn the other way. Try that a couple more times. And now we cat-cow. Let the head get involved as much as it feels good. Get the spine moving as much as you can. You can also make torso circles and move in a circular way. Let's come into a seated position. And we'll do a little bit more of a neck stretch or mobility. Let's take our right arm out to the side and then pull the fingers down to the ground in wrist extension. So we're pushing that palm out to the side, pulling the fingers down. Keep that right shoulder down. Now stay here if this feels like a nice pull or stretch. You could also let the left ear start to slowly release toward the shoulder to the amount that's tolerable. You can stay here with the neck. You could also lower the chin down. So adding rotation into that side bend or just that straight side bend. Imagine that you could breathe right into the right side of the neck, in front of that right shoulder. And then float the head back up nice and slowly. Let that right arm lower, left arm comes out, palm faces up. Pull the fingers down as much as you can, left shoulder down. Now stick with this and breathe. Maybe right ear starts to release, but let that be gentle. There might be a lot of tightness here. It might also feel like a nerve stretch or pull. So be as gentle as you need. You want to be able to breathe here. So expanding fully into the ribs, front, side, and back, not holding the breath. Float the head up slowly. Release that left arm, and let's just roll one shoulder back at a time. And our last little thing we'll do seated is take our hands to the base of the skull. So you can do, just like we would clasp our hands in our core work with the thumbs down, you can do that. You could just have the thumbs at the base of the skull. You could have all your fingers at the base of the skull. We're just gonna do a little massage. So whatever you wanna do with your hands, really try to get this lift up of the hairline. So it's almost like we're tractioning the neck, getting that same lift. So it's a pull back for most of us and an upward lift. Since most of us are forward, we can't just lift up. We have to move back over the shoulders and then lift up. So we might have a lot of tension near the base of the skull, behind the ear in that jaw area. So just do whatever feels good. You can run the fingers down. Just give yourself a little bit of neck love. You can add some of that movement while you do it too. So whatever you want to do for the next few breaths here, move or be still. But again, we want to keep that 360 breath. So keep that ability to expand the breath into the ribs, front, side, and back. We'll end here with the eyes closed. You can keep doing what you're doing. You can bring your hands to your sides or your hands to your ribs. Let's inhale.